Now, we're just going to start out here at the very first mission. Hey, Van Bishop. Good to have you here. And just as a note, my understanding is if you have the Field Marshal's edition of Panzer Corps 2, you will have early access to this. I think it is still considered beta. Don't quote me on that part, but yeah. And so they're still working on it. We are playing the name Von Thoma, who was in charge of the ground component of German support for the nationalist cause, but we'll be talking more about that. And I've decided to go with no overstrength, Master of Blitzkrieg, Deadly Grasp, and Killer Team this time. Take a look at it. Okay. Oberlieutenant Stefan Wagner, reporting for duty. May I say it's an honor to meet you, General Von Thoma. He wasn't a general, of course, then, but yeah. I swear now to faithfully serve you in the fatherland to any end. Okay. I have your orders direct from Commander Sparrow. Shall I begin? Yeah. The first main commander of the Condor Legion was Hugo Sparrow. And he looks very much like Warlimont, which was the sort of early first Army commander liaison guy. As you are undoubtedly aware, our government has pledged aid to the Spanish nationalists in their uprising. Our order to deploy to Spain is to begin immediately, but there are some critical details I feel you must be made aware of, because we don't want to undermine the legitimacy of the nationalists. We are not deploying any German infantry forces to Spain. Much more along the ideas, we do not want to start World War II right now by deploying openly German ground forces to Spain. I would change that. Just going from my understanding of things. Therefore, your battle group, Kampfgruppe 88, is to be provided supporting roles to assist the main body of nationalist forces in their coup. You will be expected to work closely with our Spanish compatriots in the campaign ahead. Speaking of which, our first assignment is to safely escort them across the Straits of Gibraltar. Primary objective, capture and hold Cadiz and Seville airfields. Up here, yes, capture and hold the auxiliary airfield as well. Bonus objective, garrison 5 Seville hexes with Army of Africa units. First off, you'll need to transport our own forces to Spain. Unfortunately, this will be easier said than done. The Republican battleship Yami 1, I guess sort of James 1, I'm not, man, no, that wouldn't be James, I'm sorry, I don't know, is on constant patrol, and submarine reports show she is on her way to interdict our operations. You will only have a limited opportunity to move your forces across the Straits of Gibraltar before the Republican naval blockades arrive. I wouldn't try to destroy the Yami 1 and her escorts. Either our light biplanes and bombers are woefully unprepared to deal with the battleship. We'll just have to deal with her later. There should be enough time to transport 2 waves of units. By naval transport, you move quickly. Army of Africa units will most likely need to be airlifted, as they are a bit behind on our embarkation points. Once again, advance to Seville should be easy enough. After we've cleared the way, any resistance around Seville, we should hold the city against any potential counterattacks. We need to hold the city long enough to transport Franco's Army of Africa to Spain to ensure we have ample friendly infantry forces in our campaign to come. Good luck, mein General. I will see you on the Spanish mainland shortly to victory for Germany. Okay, in the briefing there, and hello everyone. Been reading through it. Hey Lanzer, Grey Knight, very good. Actually, the Spanish campaign is already playable. It's just finished updating. Well, very good, Ben Bishop. Okay, so we have for our killer team, I like this as starts. Okay, we get this guy with envelopment prevents enemy units from retreating, so they surrender instead. Nice. Aiming assistancy, accuracy, 10% accuracy to all adjacent friendly units. Lightning attack, immune to all types of support fire. Ooh, that's really good. Okay, so that is really good. We could create a killer unit if you will, by assigning like all of these. I think there is a max number, but we're going to give him lightning attack. That sounds good. Envelopment sounds good for another Panzer unit, and I think since our Panzers are going to be our main ground combat, aiming assistance, don't know how well that's going to work. So now, yeah, let's end the deployment phase. Okay, this is very much, shall we say, more in the spirit of things than history. And I, just sort of want to point that out. At this point, they weren't bringing in German ground forces. So in the very earliest days, we'll send our reconnaissance up here to see, okay, we have a I-15. We're going to make sure we just kill that thing. So we're going to send all of our fighters over here, and we're going to do them all at once, so they will get mass attack bonuses as appropriate to hopefully bring them all down. And we won't have to deal with this later. Hello, Toy Jet. Good to have you here. Okay, so we've got that. So the story goes, as best I can remember it, Franco wants to move the Army of Africa, or whatever it's called exactly. I'm sure it's something a little different in Spanish. From Spanish Morocco, not the Tangiers right up here was owned by Spain and not France. Well, mostly owned by Spain and not France. I say that because Tangiers itself was an international zone, like sort of free city, sort of like Danzig was. Franco does occupy it on the same day that Germany occupies Paris in 1940. He times it that way so that the international press doesn't pay too much attention to. Can we get another one on board? Yeah, we've run out of shipping, so we'll get these guys next to the port to go out next turn. Yes, thanks for following. So Germany, they asked for, I think, 10 transport planes. The Germans estimated it'll take 20. So they send 20 Ju-52 transports down to pick up the troops. They sort of, I don't know whether they were already Lufthansa pilots or they recruited them and turned them into Lufthansa pilots, because they sort of recruit up the pilots to to do the operation. We can't attack this turn, so we'll just move to here. But we can, as you can see, secure a supply point. And so that the pilots that actually did the transporting were Lufthansa pilots, not Luftwaffe pilots. And so it sort of does make just what the status. Okay, if we move, oh, you've already moved in as much as you can. Okay. Just what the status of the planes and pilots were at the time. So we're going to move up there. Yeah, this is probably best. Now, well, I think we're just going to keep our air over here because I don't see a good target for it. No, Lufthansa. Yeah, Lufthansa, which are the pilots that did the actual transporting of the Army of Africa were not military pilots. They were civilian pilots. They were under Lufthansa, a Lufthansa contract. And they fly. Ooh, I don't know. It's less than 10,000, at least in the initial number of days of operation. Yeah. I don't. It's like 4,000 or 6,000 of the Army of Africa, which are basically people from Spanish Morocco that were, trained in military units by the Spanish with Spanish officers. At least that's my understanding. So that's what's going on at this early stage of the operation. That hurt. I sort of figured it would. Yeah, escorts arrived off coast. We'll get our transports out of there, or out of the water right now. Okay. Well, that suppresses them. Now we're going to come here and secure that airbase up. Need to get Cadiz, so I guess we'll move to there with that. No, you can't quite attack. Keep up the pressure, not get too close to some of the supporting units. What about the aircraft? Were they military planes or civilian planes? Well, yeah, they were officially as civilian planes. They were unarmed. They did send, I think, 6. They were escorted down there, and I don't know if they were being escorted on their transport missions by 6 biplanes. So they did have some escorts, but they were unarmed Ju-52s, just the transport. I want to specify that because there are the Ju-52s that the Germans used as bombers. Now, of course, they had very few, but some defensive machine guns. And, of course, they had the bombs. So, yeah, they had that. Now, what we're going to do here is rebase our aircraft. I think we're not in danger of losing that, so make sure we get our aircraft over there. I know they still have that AA gun right there, but it's not very strong and it's suppressed. So that gets over there. Now, definitely in later stages, we, see the Condor Legion coming, but that wouldn't be at this time. And the Germans were really, really worried about the idea of the war expanding into a war, or whether we want to go world war or just simply a greater European war. Okay, so now we start to see SOAR bombardment, which isn't nice. Now, I really like the mechanic of this, of having, well, right now we're still just in the two-phase turn, us and the Republicans, because we're direct controlling the, okay, just a second, we gotta, well, first let's take this. We didn't take that. Destroy that at least. Oh boy, wow. There we go. And I know we still have that. Okay, well. Overrun. Well, that would allow us to push to there. I know they have an anti-tank gun, so earlier reconnaissance, so I'm not going to quite push to there yet. But when we see in later turns, you can. I did the earlier preview of the game. Oh, okay. Well, I think we need to fly these guys away from here to be able to land them. Okay. Air attacks on armored units. They're going to fly to here and not let me disembark. Why aren't we allowing me to disembark? I'm not absolutely sure. Okay, yeah, we'll still risk the AA fire. Right. Well, maybe you can't embark and disembark one turn, the same turn. That may be it. These don't paradrop, so we have to get them to an airport to land them. Okay, let's not overly congest the area around your base. That may cause a problem. But that won't be too big of a problem. Escort some of our... Well, they may retreat back. Well, they may just all die. That works too. Some artillery to support them. Keep the AA moving forward. Okay, that looks reasonably good. So the Germans were, of course, successful in getting a fairly large element of, and this is key, battle-hardened troops to Spain to fight. The Spanish Civil War is, I would say, critical in understanding what's going to be happening. There we go. We can get you out. And yes, you'll be able to walk there in a moment. It is very... it teaches a lot of lessons, shall we say, and that level, its importance is very significant. Okay, well, rapid fire overrun. Okay, aiming assistance. No, this is the one. Development. Okay, this one here. Well, he's over here. Okay, let's. That's an AA gun. Good. Let's lower the barrel on this. Come up here. You can see how he's giving aiming assistance to units around him. Okay, so now that we've somewhat, well, let's move up here a little more. Okay. Let's suppress them even more. And so Germany helps Spain to get in, help Franco get a large army to Spain. They then make a strong push to Madrid, which fails. Now, that is an important element to the whole story, along with the idea that actually, we're going to reinforce you. Can you move up? Yes, you can move up. We've already fired, so okay, I'll get to there. The Spanish Civil War, in my opinion, starts well before German involvement, well before shall we say, even Franco's involvement in it. It's definitely starting to be something. Move up some escorting fight. Well, they can also strafe. Maybe, okay, well, effectively there. Somewhat. We don't need every aircraft here for escorting duties, I don't think, at least. We want to do it right. Well, maybe we should have done that first. So like I say, before Franco's involved directly, there is a coup that no, I don't like that. I want to undo that because it's too close to the airbase. I want to get over here, but I want to be able to have the friendly air units come back to the base. There is a coup attempt. Now, this coup attempt is prompted by definitely people friendly to the Republican government assassinating, I forget his name, one of the leading, I don't know if he was a phalangist or just, I think more just on the sort of Catholic right in Spain. They assassinate him in Madrid. And so he's taken into custody by, we're not quite sure who. You know, he's at home, his family, he's arrested, but who the people that arrest him are working for, and says something like, you know, I'll see you tomorrow or whatever, unless of course these guys are going to kill me or whatever. And yeah, they dump his body. So whoever the exact people were, whatever the exact, I know we haven't done these guys yet. Oh, okay, well, that didn't work out so well. We're not going to attack them. Yes, we will put some pressure. Your tanks just don't do well in hills. So that prompts, and there's been a lot of ongoing violence before that, prompts the sort of the last straw. There was, to the best of my understanding, there was already planning for a potential coup, but it was that assassination that really just pushed the generals a little too far, and they pushed in. Franco was definitely talking to some of the generals, as far as I know, prior to the coup starting, but I don't know how much he is organizing, approving, whatnot of the coup. Okay, we want to take out anti-tank gun. Let's move you up this way. And he retreats back. Very nice. We're just going to do that so that we can then... And they're getting artillery support. So... No, these are the bombers. Fighter bombers. So he has some level of involvement, Franco does, in the general's coup, but I don't believe, just because okay, the story is the Republican government doesn't trust a lot of the generals, so they move generals off to remote areas. Well, Franco is still basically, I think, officially in charge of the Army of Africa. He has led a actually, no, hold it, undo that. Let's just, okay, they're still getting that. Yeah, we'll risk the... Okay, that got them pushed to there. And you'll move to the flank there. And so he's out in the Canary Islands. Franco is. And basically to make him, to isolate him away from his support base of the Moroccan troops, which is not super far away from all of that. And let's move to here. Come up to here. And now the artillery is fully suppressed. So we can come up. Oh, these guys have already moved. Damn it. Oh, well, these guys can move down. Let's take out the artillery. And so, and also as well, my understanding is to be able to monitor Franco's communication, because, you know, I know it may be strange to you guys, but they didn't have the internet back then. So it's not, you know, and not that they didn't have the telephone and whatnot, they did, obviously, but they didn't, you know, they could monitor that. You can have somebody listening on the telephone wires and know who he's calling, know who he's talking to. So that was part of the, because they were really worried about Franco and what he might be doing, as far as I know, the Republicans were. And so this is obviously a difficult situation, shall we say, for setting up a coup or whatnot. So I really don't blame Franco for the situation. I just believe it was Spain was going out of control. No. Oh, I need to undo that. I wanted you to come to here. Then hit. Okay, there we go. Get up into the air. Wasn't there? No, here they are. They were camouflaged too well. It's just Spain dealing with moving into the modern age. It was a very agrarian society, and there was a lot of cultural conflict, shall we say, going on. And so I don't blame the Republicans are pushing very hard on, let's move, well, you know, you can stay to ground. Pushing very hard on things, and there was conflict on both sides. So I'm not going to say, oh, it's this group's fault or that group's fault. It was just dealing with Spain moving into the 20th century. And yes, I know I haven't used the reconnaissance aircraft because I didn't think it was terribly important. Now they moved up our anti-tank gun and it hurt my tanks a bit. Okay. Now we will use the reconnaissance aircraft because I want to see what's going on here because I'm getting ready to attack. Let's fly over to here. Oh boy, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. Okay, first we need to clean up these guys. What do we have for AA use? One enemy AA use, not much. Okay, that's good. So we're going to go after armor units back in here. Not quite effective against units in towns. Hey, Cushion Gaming, how you doing? Good to have you here. Okay, I think let's just kill that unit. Right. Yeah. Not quite the complete victory I wanted. Yes. I don't think they'll take serious damage. No, they didn't take any damage. Yeah, they fired. Can they come up now? Okay, good. They surrender. Now we have to worry about that anti-tank gun, which is going to be a problem. So, fortunately, currently we are actually commanding the Spanish infantry here. Excuse me. So they'll be able to take care of the anti-tank gun better. And moving up artillery to give support. Okay. They can move to here, so that will support that. We've got to get our infantry up here. And again, those of you just joining us and haven't watched for very long, most of the scenarios, the Spanish infantry will be their own faction, if you will, and that we don't command them directly. But in this operation, I think it's just a little difficult to set up, having them get in and out of the aircraft and whatnot. Now, the mechanic here that is really good, and that we'll see in future scenarios, or you can look at on the preview video that was done from the celebration last Friday, to having the Spanish operating as their sort of a three-way fight would be really good, and the whole mechanic would work really well for a North Africa campaign with the Italians and the Germans in North Africa, to not have them as a 100% cooperative, reinforce. Now that we've have infantry up here, we'll be able to do better combined arms to push into the airfields that we need to get, and hopefully all of Seville. So we're doing well. We're leaving behind the dangers of the big ships. So that would be really nice to have. Have the Italians as one faction and the Germans as another, fighting the, well, either the Americans or the British. Okay, so we're starting to see more Soviet aircraft. Okay, so we better start escorting our fighter bombers much better. They actually even came into the port. How interesting. Okay. Okay, we'll keep running away from the coast. It's going to be a bit painful. Yeah, not too bad. Okay. Now, this is a Soviet T-26. It has, I think it's a 45 millimeter gun on it. Does it say on the info here? I don't remember. It's about a 45 millimeter gun. And similarly, though this is a faster tank, the BT-5, maybe it's a 37 or 30 or 47 millimeter gun. Now, Panzer I's have two machine guns on them, as probably most all of you know. They're MG-15s, not MG-34s. And the Germans found that there was a little bit of a problem. They couldn't really deal with other tanks with their machine guns. And they sort of reported this back to Germany. And the Germans developed a machine gun bullet, basically hot loaded, presumably steel cored or whatnot, that less than at 500 yards and less, or 500 meters and less, I should say, keep using freedom units, they would be able to penetrate the armor of the Soviet tanks, because the armor on the Soviet tanks wasn't very thick. Okay, so, well, we have here which one. He is aiming assistance. He is lightning attack, immune to all support fire. Okay, well, chew that up, fall back there. They can come here. He won't get the support fire from the AT gun. And probably should have done that first, of course. Yeah. And now that they're no longer overrun, but no, well, yeah, we can attack him out here. Another overrun, we can only get to there, but that's all right. Right, okay, now. Yeah, these Moroccan troops are so much better than the Spanish militias. I think we'll just hit them and hit them hard. Very good. Okay, so be sure to protect it from counterattack. Yes, and yes, there is a problem if we attack from that anti-tank gun. Okay, move you to here. So now, these tanks attack any of these infantry units we have, unless they have somebody who can nullify it. They have anti-tank support, or anti-tank gun support. I think we're going to just leave you there. You can move to there. You can come up to here. Very nice. Well. Yeah, haven't even done the aircraft yet. Boy, I'm slipping. Okay, and we experienced last time a bunch of Soviet fighters that came in and messed with us, those guys over there. Always try to remember to do your air attacks first, like I forgot to do here. Now we will bring in our weakest fighter here. I'll come here, do a strafing attack here, but they will also be effectively escorting the 3 other units. And then we'll see. Okay, we can't quite make it up to deal with them, so we don't have the range for him. He would. Okay, well, better to do some good and eliminate some than nothing. He's just a little too far back. Air power, air power. Do we need more reconnaissance, anything? Well, no. All right.